Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Exceptional Conservative Show on the Exceptional Conservative Network, live from Washington, D.C. We are not ashamed of the good news of conservatism, for it is the power of liberation. First to the Republicans and the Socialists. Well, actually, tonight is not really the Exceptional Conservative Show. On Thursday nights, it's New Day Black and Red. And on New Day Black and Red, we like to give you a conservative, constitutional opinion, as well as a spiritual opinion of the issues of the day. And I am so glad that you are here this particular evening. What's happening, Mary? Mary Brockman, something's on your left shoulder. What is? Must be dust or something. I don't know. Man, what's that? Okay. Hopefully it's okay. Well, I think it's like a little dust, when you hit a little dust bunny or something and it stays there. Thank you so much. Mary Brockman's my bouncer in chief. If you diss her, you diss me, you will be dismissed. She makes me look good. She does. And Mrs. Biggs also. She is resting for the evening. Want to thank the good people at WEAC Radio for their support of Shanice Milton. There is going to be a special event on Saturday, this Saturday, at the WEAC Radio at 3 p.m. Actually, it will be from 3 to 7. It will be a barbecue and so much other stuff. And in fact, apparently Sugar Bear and Experience Unlimited will be performing there. So I'm looking forward to meeting and greeting those who can attend and support. I know that it is a big weekend, and as such, people have already made plans. But those who remain in the city, open door, come right on in and enjoy yourself accordingly. New Day Black and Red is given to us to make certain that we present a spiritual as well as a constitutional viewpoint on the issues of the day. My host has been ailing over the past few weeks, and we're going to do our very best to make sure that we get him on the air tonight, even for a short stint, just to say hello to everyone. We know him as the Underground Professor. You know him as Dr. Michael Jones of undergroundprofessor.us. And we've been praying for him. He's been suffering from pneumonia. Our hopes is for his eternal healing and that he's doing well. I want to thank also the Kraken himself, Ralph J. Chittum Sr., for his 8 o'clock show. Wonderful job bringing attention to the fact that Dr. Ben Carson is absolutely right. If poverty is a state of mind, you can get in and get out of it. It's up to you. Boxcar Dave Milner, who's in our chat room, says, please warn folks, Ramadan begins on the 27th. Thank you. Not only the day in which my daughter was shot and killed, but Ramadan begins on the 27th. And so, all I'm going to say to you is be extraordinarily careful of your environment. There's already a call from overseas, threats in Chicago and other places of lone wolves. And so, be very, very careful. And I want to play for you later on tonight the speech by Donald Trump, unedited, unaltered, from NATO, from Brussels. I just want to play it for you so you know, without the biases and the prejudices of the media that you hear to, because they can't do what we do. But I'm going to play that for you. and give you an opportunity to listen to it. Now, without further ado, you know how we start the show off. Put your right hand over your heart. We pledge allegiance to the United States of America, to the flag of the United States of America. For those who are watching us on live stream, big flag over here. For those who are watching us on Ustream, you got flags behind you. There you go. Right there, right there. In addition to that, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank the good people at SHR Media for carrying us live. Uh, I understand, Barry. You might be very safe by doing that. Also, want to thank Red Nation Rising for carrying us at 2 a.m. on the Liberty Channel, and HP Pundit for carrying us as well live, also known as Constitution Radio. So thank you all so much for doing so. Kids, I want you all to take it away. Go right ahead. Right hand over heart, people.
Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, terrific. Thank you. That's our kitties. Thank you so much for leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, last night's show with Alicia Poe, as well as, unfortunately, Liz Crokin couldn't be with us. We put that show out, well listened to. Thank you all so much for tuning in and listening to it. But I want you all to know that YouTube blocked it because it didn't meet their community standards. And I'm just blessed that Facebook didn't say anything in terms of sharing it. But the bottom line is this. It exemplifies exactly why I have to move and have to do what I got to do to create a great network. We want an unadulterated program. We want an unbiased program, an unprejudiced program. I want to present to you the news, and I want you, as mature as you are, to make your own decisions in terms of what truth is by comparing the facts and the fiction. You can't do that when there is someone else sitting above you making decisions for you because it doesn't meet their community standards. So the murder of Seth Rich apparently is a matter they don't want you to discuss. Okay. It is considered fake news, and as such, and I believe also last night it was WND.com had their Twitter account blocked because they were continuing to follow the Seth Rich story. So all I'm saying to you is, ladies and gentlemen, there are some people who will continue to fight and say, I need to be on Twitter and Facebook. Thank you, Mary. Mary said, at least we heard it. Exactly. But I'm telling you right now, I refuse to have them censor me any longer. I don't want my hosts to be censored. If there are other hosts who want that kind of thing, that's great. That's wonderful. I'm not going to fight you on that one. Enjoy your ride. But I will tell you this, someday you're going to come to a topic that's going to be offensive to somebody. And because it's offensive to somebody, it will give them justification to do what their will is to you. Now, we also in talks right now with Chris Arps from MOUtoday.tv and as well John Scott from Init TV, Init Live TV out of Washington, Missouri. As we're moving forward with our plans to get our 24/7 TV network going, TECN.tv. And I also hear that High Plains Pundit is creating their own TV network. So congratulations, Dan. Good job. As many, in a capitalistic nation, as many people as can get into the marketplace, I'm for it. I believe in free enterprise. I also believe in making certain that as many people are possibly getting into the concept of unadulterated, unhinged speech. There are many fascists out there who are trying to keep us from speaking the truth. And there are many who have gotten acclimated to a society in which others can censor them and it's acceptable. I've never gotten used to Facebook jail. I don't know. I don't think I want to spend time in any jail, but certainly I don't want it to be censored. So congratulations to you in terms of that particular effort. Also, want to say to you all tonight, we got a number of issues. Not only the NATO thing that I want to talk with you all about. Also, want to talk with you again about taxes and budget, and the whole concept of what a godly steward is. And so, in the last quarter of our program, New Day Black and Red, we will be talking about the godly witness of stewardship and how it is lacking in Washington, D.C. I must say, I applaud a president, although I do not agree with everything in his budget. Let me just say that. Because that paid leave thing, I think you're over. That's not your role. But in terms of the concept of the taxpayer being put first before the tax recipient, that says a whole lot. So let us get underway, get started. We're going to go to a quick break. When we come back, we will be talking with, hopefully, Dr. Michael Jones. You're listening to the Exceptional Conservative Network and the Exceptional Conservative Show. Well, actually, New Day Black and Red on Thursday nights. God bless you. Stay with us.
There are only two things you should be doing weeknights at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, and one of them is legal in 58 states. So do the other one. Listen live to the Exceptional Conservative Show with Ken McClenton, Monday through Wednesday at 9:10 p.m. Eastern Time on SHR Media and at theexceptionalconservativeshow.com. The Exceptional Conservative Show, bringing the sexy back to late night conservative talk.
With home values up and interest rates near all-time lows, you probably know that now is a great time to refinance, like the Johnsons, who saved $436 a month.
$436 a month?
It's simple. Just go to lendingtree.com, compare loan offers for free, and see how much you could save in just 5 minutes.
I thought you said the bank gave you the best rate.
Yeah.
Lending Tree. When banks compete, you win.
I have to do everything myself.
Someone is sleeping on the couch tonight.
It's a love story like no other. From God's heart to yours. And for 30 years, it's been at the heart of every book, Bible, CD, gift, and resource from ChristianBook.com. Over 500,000 products, always at the very best value. ChristianBook.com. Everything Christian. Because it's our story, too.
Now, at Brownells, we know you may have only one shot to harvest that trophy, so we have thousands of accessories and replacement parts to improve your chances. We know how much you love to shoot, so our Gunsmiths articles and videos will help you do more and get more out of your guns. We also value your hard work and money. That's why only Brownells backs up everything we sell with a 100% unconditional lifetime guarantee. Brownells, the world's largest supplier of firearm accessories and gunsmithing tools.
Thank you for taking the call. And I really enjoy ICRN, your station, the station I listen to all day.
Okay, thanks, Dominique, for that.
There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, those were good times. Ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you back to the Exceptional Conservative Show, live from the nation's capital. We certainly are not ashamed of the good news of conservative. Did I say the Exceptional Conservative Show? Forgive me. It's New Day Black and Red. It's like the Exceptional Conservative Show when the professor isn't here, but it's really New Day Black and Red when he's here. And so let us get the professor, Dr. Michael Jones, on the line so I can quit saying that. Because I miss him. I really miss the professor. I really do. One Mississippi, two Mississippi, three Mississippi, one ringy dingy, two ringy dingy, three ringy dingy. I pray that he's doing well. I pray that he's. Oh boy.
Hey, hello.
Hey, hello, Professor. We just wanted to greet you this evening and tell you that we love you and that we're praying for you. Um, and
Oh, you're the one.
yeah. Uh, I want you to know I picked all of the get well cards out and left you with the bills, so that you
I
know.
noticed that. Thank God for Obamacare because I'm now broke.
Yeah, I understand. I understand.
Oh my gosh!
Thank
I tell
God.
you what, I am almost at the $3,000 mark. Tomorrow I have to go do some kind of methyl boronide test or something. I don't remember what it's called. Meth's in the name, so I was hoping that kind of at least I get some meth out of this.
Exactly.
They're checking for adult onset asthma.
Ah.
And they said that I don't want to pass this test. But, if I don't, then they still don't know what's wrong with me. And then I have another CT on Monday to see if the intrusion in my lower left lobe of my lung, which is what keeps messing with my heart,
Yeah.
and I'm having a heart attack, if it's gone or not. And so I got that on Monday, and that's all that they've been able to do so far.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
I know the big question is everybody wants to ask, how exactly are you doing?
Well, it's like a roller coaster, There's times where I think I'm doing great, and then times where I feel like I just rode hard and put up wet and need to be shot. Like for instance, this week, Monday and Tuesday, I almost went back to the hospital. I felt so bad. And then, Wednesday, I felt a little better. I was actually able to talk some to Hanging and my daughter and my sister. And I'm today, I was doing pretty good, but then my mail truck broke down and I was stuck out there for an hour in the heat with no fan, no air moving. And I started, that stressing and everything. I started coughing, and I've been coughing ever since today. And it wouldn't be so bad if I knew what was wrong with me, and we could figure it out. And then the goal is I've had 7 rounds of antibiotics and 3 rounds of steroids, so they can't give me any more of either. And so what they're trying to do is figure out why I'm sick, what's causing me to stay sick or to keep getting re-sick. They're not sure which is true. I've either been sick for 4 months or I keep getting the same thing over and over.
Yeah.
And so what they're trying to do is figure out what's doing that. And once they figure out what the bacteria thing is, then they'll know specifically how to target it. So I get to do the sputum collection test, which is, just really exciting when you have a full beard.
Wow. So they're not going to make you shave it or anything, right?
But I've come close a few times because, it felt so heavy on my throat. I couldn't breathe and I kept coughing. And, of course, my whole beard combined couldn't weigh 1 ounce. But, just a fluffy bunch of hair. But when it's on your throat, you start freaking out when you can't breathe.
Yeah.
But I've had good sense not to cut it. I've stopped myself from being an idiot because this took me so many years to grow,
Exactly.
It wouldn't be right at Christmas to show up with half a beard or no beard.
Exactly.
Kind of put a dent in a lot of kids' Christmases.
Exactly. Santa is going to the Bahamas, okay? I'm trying to get ready early.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, goodness.
But I don't know. I'm okay. I guess the way I can say it is I'm okay. I'm holding up. I'm working. You know, and God knows I have to. When you're dating a supermodel, you know, when you're a mailman, you've got to keep working.
Yeah, I thought she thought you were a member of ZZ Top. Maybe.
Well, yeah. But when she found out I can only play the harmonica, it did not, you know, go well.
No.
But she doesn't think I'm lying yet, but she's starting to suspect something.
Why?
Yeah.
Why
So,
is he in town every week? Yeah.
Yeah. Doesn't go on tour anymore.
Yeah.
I told him we're all, you know, we're all in the studio writing right now. So,
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly.
Right. I had every hope. Tuesday, I was going to come back and start my radio show up, and I thought, oh no, they have that movie about Israel, you know, in the 6-Day War after they became a country in Egypt and everybody attacked them and Israel defeated them. They had a movie out, and it was only playing on that Tuesday night. One right by my house was showing it, so I got a ticket. And then I went to work, and I tell you, Tuesday, I felt like, you know, I don't know even how to describe it, but I was shaking, and I had a fever, and I was sweating like a banshee, and then I'd stop sweating and start freezing, and I just was, you know, coughing up my lungs, so I was like, crap, I can't go to a theater while I'm coughing like this, so I had to give up the ticket, and I just sat home and ate chicken noodle soup, and you know, sat in my movie chair and kept taking my blanket on and off as I would heat and freeze alternately. And I decided not to try and control it with my air conditioner because it couldn't keep up. So I just turned it off and sat there and put a fan on me and then just alternated with the blanket as I needed.
Yeah.
And then I thought for sure, I said, okay, Wednesday I felt pretty good compared to Tuesday. I thought, all right, I'm going to do my invited the sheriff of Denton County to come on my show tonight. But he didn't get back to me. He's the one who made all those comments about the terrorists. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but
yeah.
And you know, Denton County is the county just north of me, north of Fort Worth, you know, Tarrant County, and it's my alma mater where I got one of my PhDs at UNT up there. So I called them up to see if they come on the show, but then again, you know, here I can't do it. Today, I retrograded again, and I was so excited. I thought I finally had this licked enough where I could actually do my show. That's driving me crazy.
I know it is.
Not only that, but I'm paying. I got off of Blog Talk Radio, you know, what, $30-40 a month, and I haven't done my show all year. That just makes me even madder.
Well, I want you to know that none of that money is saved up as a reserve. I just want to let you know.
Oh, I know. And you can't put it on hold or anything, you know, because like I call them and say, hey, can I put this on a standby, you know, because I'm like mega sick and I can't do anything. And they're like, no, you should have thought of that before you renewed. It's like, yeah, if I had thought of that before I renewed, I wouldn't renew. So
How much?
I made my decision for next time and confirmed it. I'm not renewing.
Exactly.
Okay, well, we hear that a lot.
How many months do you have left with Blog Talk?
Oh, I don't know. I need to check.
Yeah, because
you know, I don't know. I think October. I think that's because I think last October it caught me by surprise, or November. You know, I was getting geared up for the holidays. Maybe it's November because I remember I was so caught up with the holidays that I didn't even notice that it had renewed. Yeah. And,
wow. Now,
anyway,
do you suspect that this ailment may have started as biological warfare from Winston because Winston was overshadowed twice as the choice of the preferred dog in the lap?
No, but I'll tell you this. My ex-wife has reared her 5,000-pound ugly head back into my life. And I'm not saying my ex-wife is fat, but her shadow weighs 42 pounds. So
And that
She's suing me for, she sued me for $30,000.
wow.
She says that I owe her back pay for our divorce.
Yeah.
And I don't even know how that's true, but so she's in my life again, and this is the thinking of my brain trust down here in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Is that she, my youngest daughter, who by the way is going into the Marine Corps.
Oh, all right.
Approved. Yeah, and so it's a real chance for her to become a human being. If anybody can do it, the Marines can make her a human being and not whatever her mom has created. And but she started following me on Instagram, and so when I post those pictures on Instagram, when they go to Facebook, what they've seen is pictures of me with the Escalade and pictures of me with Megan being happy, and I guess they figured out that I'm paying for my girlfriend's apartment. I'm driving an Escalade, and so they might think that my radio show's making money and that they're going to come after it and get money from me. Little do they know.
Little.
All I've got to give people is debt.
Yeah.
My daughter prays every day that I don't die because she knows all she's going to do is inherit debt.
I can see them now. The EKG machine goes flatline, and she's jumping in front of the physician, pounding your chest.
That's right.
Come back!
You will not unplug that. You will not unplug that. There is no DNR here. He's not dead. He's what was that? Turned me into a newt. So anyway, that's the thinking, is that she. Whoops. I'm sorry, I pushed the button wrong.
Oh no.
The thinking is she thinks I have money. She's coming after me for it.
Yeah,
which is kind of funny.
Yeah, it's amazing. And I blame you because you started dating a supermodel. I mean, you knew, you just knew. And I want to let you know something. I saw the commercial. I saw the commercial with your wife's shadow after Jenny Craig, and the shadow is very happy at getting down to 42 pounds. Okay.
Right. It was, Oprah even had her shadow on her show. I'm not saying my ex-wife is fat, but if you take a tennis ball and gently throw it at her midsection, it will actually enter into its own orbit.
I suppose her nickname is Jupiter, right?
Yeah.
Not Venus, but Jupiter.
No, her nickname was Ham on. Ham on whole wheat. Yeah.
Ham on rye.
She would go to a restaurant, and we'd get the menus.
Yeah.
And she would just look at it and say yes.
How it's on
a Diet Coke.
Yeah.
Everything in a Diet Coke.
Because I'm losing weight. Oh my
God. We'd go to buffets and small babies would quake in fear that she might eat them.
But I want you to know that he is.
I'm not saying she's fat, but she would have fed an Ethiopian village for about 20 years.
Which is why she never traveled to the Arctic.
That's why she hasn't gone on any congressional junkets. People don't know my ex-wife is a constituent aide for a congressman, a Republican congressman down here.
Wow.
Who pretends to be conservative, yeah.
Gee.
And I think that now that she's entered my life again, I may just have to start campaigning against her boss so I can get her job taken away by getting her boss's job taken away.
Hey, actually, that's a factual. I like that. Boxcar Dave Milner. Boxcar Dave Milner says Professor's ex just sees food and she gains weight. Professor took her to the grocery store one time and she couldn't get out.
Well, it's true. Yeah. She, but what we're, we settled out of court. We're not supposed to tell what happened, but she basically had to get her way out.
That's
So, I'm not saying it was easy, but she was professional and she got it done.
exactly. She got it done. She was the consummate woman in terms of handling that particular matter.
She went to Vegas once and fell down, and what we now know it's called the San Andreas fault.
Oh my God! So she was responsible.
The old joke about your mom is so fat she sits around the house. She really sits around the house.
Yeah, yeah.
My ex-wife was the prototype for that joke.
Now I love the joke that when you can carry your own orbit, that's pretty big. That's pretty big.
Well, sure. And not only that, but she got her own zip code. Post office just gave her one, said, all right, you've exceeded parameters, so they just stuck a P.O. box in one of the folds of that and gave her a zip code.
I want you all to know, and this is one of the things I must say, a lot of people think that the host
Oprah wants to feel thin, she goes and stands next to my ex-wife. So what were you saying? I'm sorry.
Oh my God! Oh, this is going to be used in court.
Oh, no. That's why I had to use the name.
Well, at least it'll be a funny day in court. That's all that you have to worry about. A lot of people have this misunderstanding.
So I get a judge with a sense of humor.
Yeah, exactly. And normally in these cases they don't. And the woman is always right. But a lot of people have this misunderstanding that we are excessively wealthy, and that's why we do this programming. Don't think so.
Well, I know you are. You're so money rich, you wouldn't even let me come see your house so I could see all your money.
I want you to know Kellyanne Conway just bought my mansion. So, yeah.
Your McMansion?
Yeah, I had so many of them. I just, why hold on to one? Let her have it.
Wow.
Yeah,
tell you what a good friend Boxcar Willie is there, Agador. Tell you what a good friend he is. He's trying to make me move to Colorado so you guys can move down here and take my house from me. He's got it all figured out. He says, Professor, you're going to move to Colorado and for your lungs because you need a drier climate, and then Ken can move down with Peaches and take over your farm. And I thought, that's not a bad idea.
Exactly.
Because I may have to move. The doctors are talking about maybe if I have this asthma that I might have to change climates. So I may end up moving up to Utah with my daughter.
Yeah.
Up there.
But wait a minute. Isn't it warm and dry in Texas? I mean, isn't that the perfect climate? No?
Used to be, but what we did was like idiots. All these people came from other places, and they thought, oh, but we want lakes. And so they put all these man-made lakes and swimming pools everywhere, and now we have so much humidity that, we got like the humidity of Mississippi and the heat of Arizona. So it's just a lot of fun down here.
Ooh, hot box.
As a matter of fact, it gets to be like 105 out here for 90 days in a row.
Mm-hmm.
And my ex-wife smells like bacon when she goes outside.
which is how you find lost dogs. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we got to go to a quick break. When we come back, Professor, we love you. We want you to have your rest for the evening.
Thank you. I'm really going to try and do this next Thursday.
No problem.
I swear to y'all, I'm trying.
No problem.
Every time I think I can do it, then the rug gets pulled out from under me.
Listen, we love you and we're praying for you. And we will talk with you next week. Love you, man.
Hey, love you guys. Thanks everybody for the prayers you're giving me. Honestly, all jokes aside, I appreciate it. And if you could pray that I become independently wealthy so I can afford my girlfriend, I'd take those prayers too.
No, because then you have to pay your wife. The ex-wife. So yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
and I'll just give it all to the ex or to the girlfriend, then I won't have it.
You're a wise man. God, we love him.
Yes.
We love him. Lord Jesus, we pray
Figured I'll
right
just
now
circumvent
for his
the next
healing.
divorce.
We pray for his strength. Lord God, we pray for your presence to be upon him in every step of the way. Take for him, Father God, that which you do not give, and give to him, Father God, that which you only can. And we love him dearly, and we ask for your significant presence in his life every moment of the day. In Jesus' name we say amen.
In nomine et Patre et Sancto.
Yeah.
Amen.
Dominus Ominous too, yeah.
Hey, did the Pope give you any of his books on global warming like he did the president?
Yeah, I listen. I'm going to hold that conversation with you next week. But that was a really sad picture. Sad picture of the Pope with the president.
Reminds me of Obama giving the Queen his greatest speeches on MP3. Wow. I love the left.
Love you, man. We will talk to you real soon.
Thanks. Bye, guys. Be careful, everybody, and I'll see you next week.
All right. Love you, bro.
Bye.
Bye. Ladies and gentlemen, that was underground professor Dr. Michael Jones. When we come back, New Day Black and Red enters into a conversation regarding budget, taxes, and NATO. Stay tuned. The greatest advertisers in all of the world are on the Exceptional Conservative Show and the Exceptional Conservative Network. Buy their products and share their good news. Go to theexceptionalconservativeshow.com right now. We'll be back after these messages.
So what do you think about ebooks? Maybe you've never read an ebook before, but you're considering giving it a try. Or maybe you've been reluctant to try ebooks because you don't want to buy another expensive electronic device. Or maybe you already enjoy ebooks, but you haven't been able to find titles from your favorite Christian authors. Whatever your situation, ChristianBook.com has the solution. Your trusted source for print books for over 30 years now offers ebooks. Our always free CBD reader allows you to read on the devices you already own without spending money on a new device. Thousands of Christian ebooks at ChristianBook.com means you can shop with confidence and choose from the titles you want. Plus, we are adding new titles all the time. Browse our huge selection of low-priced Christian ebooks the same way you would printed books, only now you can go from shopping to reading in seconds. Simply select the ebook you wish to purchase, confirm your account information, and start reading. Free samples of every ebook are available, so you can preview the book first, before you buy it. Plus, there's no lengthy app downloads and updates. Accessing the CBD Reader is as easy as going to cbdreader.christianbook.com and bookmarking the page. The CBD Reader holds your ebooks and bookmarks for you, no matter what device you're on. So, you can take your entire ebook library wherever you go and pick up right where you left off. Our customizable options make it possible to read your ebooks in different font sizes and styles. Want a large print version? You've got it in seconds with a simple click of the mouse. Already own a dedicated e-reader? Download your ebooks to your computer from your ChristianBook.com account and transfer them to your device. Try ebooks at ChristianBook.com and start reading your favorite books in seconds. Easy, economical, everywhere you want to read. Welcome to ChristianBook.com ebooks.
Remember when the wealthiest counties in America usually voted Republican, while middle and lower income voters almost exclusively voted Democrat? Hello, I'm Ron Edwards. On today's page from the Edwards Notebook, there seems to be a seismic change in voting patterns. More lower and middle income Americans are waking from their multi-decade automatic support for globalist socialist Democrats and are shifting their focus toward Republicans, while increasingly more and more wealthy Americans support Democrats, who are no friend of prosperity for the masses, unless it entails taking from the achievers to hand out to the idle. In fact, Looney Tunes like Senator Elizabeth Warren are against lowering the corporate tax rate. Of course, she and her fellow elites are wealthy enough to live comfortably with high taxes. But the world's highest corporate tax rate has caused over 50 U.S. corporations to move their headquarters and operations to lower taxed nations like Ireland and Mexico. As a result, fewer jobs have been available, and it is more difficult for Americans to raise themselves up by their own bootstraps by opening their own businesses because of high taxes and over-regulations. Now, that should be one of the main rallying points for Republicans, instead of them being scared little chickens, afraid to support President Donald Trump's mission to make America great again. I'm Ron Edwards.
Sponsored by the Tri-County Liberty Coalition.
Ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you back to New Day Black and Red, live from the nation's capital. I want to play for you now President Donald Trump's speech before NATO today so that you get an unbiased opinion. You get the truth and the facts.
Keeps our nation members of an alliance.
Sorry.
And a great honor to give you the floor, please. Thank you very much, Secretary General Stoltenberg, Chancellor Merkel. Thank you very much. Other heads of state and government, I'm honored to be here with members of an alliance that has promoted safety and peace across the world. Prime Minister May, all of the nations here today grieve with you and stand with you. I would like to ask that we now observe a moment of silence for the victims and families of the savage attack which took place in Manchester. Thank you. Terrible thing. This ceremony is a day for both remembrance and resolve. We remember and mourn those nearly 3,000 innocent people who were brutally murdered by terrorists on September 11th, 2001. Our NATO allies responded swiftly and decisively, invoking for the first time in its history the Article 5 collective defense commitments. The recent attack on Manchester in the United Kingdom demonstrates the depths of the evil we face with terrorism. Innocent little girls and so many others were horribly murdered and badly injured while attending a concert, beautiful lives with so much great potential, torn from their families forever and ever. It was a barbaric and vicious attack upon our civilization. All people who cherish life must unite in finding, exposing, and removing these killers and extremists. And yes, losers. They are losers. Wherever they exist in our societies, we must drive them out and never, ever let them back in. This call for driving out terrorism is a message I took to a historic gathering of Arab and Muslim leaders across the region, hosted by Saudi Arabia. There I spent much time with King Solomon, a wise man who wants to see things get much better rapidly. The leaders of the Middle East have agreed at this unprecedented meeting to stop funding the radical ideology that leads to this horrible terrorism all over the globe. My travels and meetings have given me renewed hope that nations of many faiths can unite to defeat terrorism, a common threat to all of humanity. Terrorism must be stopped in its tracks, or the horror you saw in Manchester and so many other places will continue forever. You have thousands and thousands of people pouring into our various countries and spreading throughout. And in many cases, we have no idea who they are. We must be tough, we must be strong, and we must be vigilant. The NATO of the future must include a great focus on terrorism and immigration, as well as threats from Russia and on NATO's eastern and southern borders. These grave security concerns are the same reason that I have been very, very direct with Secretary Stoltenberg and members of the alliance in saying that NATO members must finally contribute their fair share and meet their financial obligations. But 23 of the 28 member nations are still not paying what they should be paying and what they are supposed to be paying for their defense. This is not fair to the people and taxpayers of the United States. And many of these nations owe massive amounts of money from past years and not paying in those past years. Over the last 8 years, the United States spent more on defense than all other NATO countries combined. If all NATO members had spent just 2% of their GDP on defense last year, we would have had another $119 billion for our collective defense and for the financing of additional NATO reserves. We should recognize that with these chronic underpayments and growing threats, even 2% of GDP is insufficient to close the gaps in modernizing, readiness, and the size of forces. We have to make up for the many years lost. 2% is the bare minimum for confronting today's very real and very vicious threats. If NATO countries made their full and complete contributions, then NATO would be even stronger than it is today, especially from the threat of terrorism. I want to extend my appreciation to the 9/11 Memorial and Museum in New York for contributing this remnant of the North Tower, as well as to Chancellor Merkel and the German people for donating this portion of the Berlin Wall. It is truly fitting that these two artifacts now reside here so close together at the new NATO headquarters. And I never asked once what the new NATO headquarters cost. I refuse to do that. But it is beautiful. Each one marks a pivotal event in the history of this alliance and in the eternal battle between good and evil. On one side, a testament to the triumph of our ideals over a totalitarian communist ideology bent on the oppression of millions and millions of people. On the other, a painful reminder of the barbaric evil that still exists in the world and that we must confront and defeat together as a group, as a world. This twisted mass of metal reminds us not only of what we have lost, but also what forever endures. The courage of our people, the strength of our resolve, and the commitments that bind us together as one. We will never forget the lives that were lost. We will never forsake the friends who stood by our side. And we will never waver in our determination to defeat terrorism and to achieve lasting security, prosperity, and peace. Thank you very much. It's a great honor to be here. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want you all to understand the whole of what President Trump did today. He put in check on the early part of this trip the Arab nations. And he's closed out by putting in check the North Atlantic Treaty Organizations. You know the ones. The United Kingdom, France, Spain, Italy, on and on and on. There are 28 states, and out of those 28 states, 23 out of the 28 states have done the bare minimum to protect their own. And they're asking the American people to not only sacrifice our children and their lives, but our wealth and our weaponry. It is very easy to bully the weak. It is even made easier when the weak choose to find someone strong to fight their battles for them. Donald Trump made it abundantly clear today to those who are following along at home. Everything since Truman has been to your gratification. Things are changing, and you better change with them. We'll be right back with more of the best in Urban Conservative Talk right after this message. I'm Ken McClinton, chairman of the Exceptional Conservative Network. Never has the cry for economic liberty been more resounding in urban America than on Election Day 2016. It's the economy. All real change begins with the American entrepreneur. Socialism did not work. Progressivism stole the wealth of individuals and families. You voted for something different, real change. But what does real change look and sound like? It looks like Las Vegas, and it sounds like Freedom Fest 10. Freedom Fest, the world's largest gathering of free minds, is the popular liberty-minded conference at the beautiful Paris Resort in Las Vegas from July 19th to the 22nd. Hear the voices of the urban freedom movement, Deneen Borelli, Larry Elder, Gina Lofton, Helen Rowley, Juan Pablo Agrande, and Zayad Abdelnour. Share ideas with powerful liberty movement figures like Steve Forbes, Jim Rogers, Anthony Scaramucci, Jennifer Grossman, Naomi Brockwell, Dinesh D'Souza, John Stossel, Lisa Kennedy, Peter Schiff, and our keynote speaker this year, William Shatner. Your money, your liberty, your freedom, your city. Come for the real and return with the change. Register now at freedomfest.com for $100 off the regular registration rate when you use the all caps code TECN. We'll see you there. Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you back to New Day Black and Red live from the nation's capital. We certainly are not ashamed of the good news of conservatism, but it is the power of liberation. I hope that you enjoyed the whole of that speech. I know that you probably listened to the cable networks for most of the day, especially the formerly moderate, but now trending towards the left, Fox News. And they spent much of the day talking about Donald Trump pushing the president of NATO out of the way so he could be in the front. He spent most of the day talking about the fact that he chastised them for not protecting themselves. But he was telling them that the principles of freedom transcend oceans. You cannot depend on us to protect you if you choose not to protect yourself. You cannot depend on us to come in and rescue you if you are opening your borders to the enemy. The bottom line is we are not going to fight your battles if you choose not to fight yourself. You can't lose weight by someone forcing you to. You got to exercise it. And that's the whole idea about freedom. You better exercise it, or else you will be totalitarianly stricken for the rest of your days. We are watching the Moors come back to take over Europe. He made it abundantly clear to Urkel and the rest that we ain't gonna take it no more. Yes, we're over and into the second hour of New Day Black and Red. When we come back from our break, more of our conversation about NATO, you, the taxpayer, and the American budget. $4.1 trillion, and Bernie Sanders once more.
Now, Brownells, we know you may have only one shot to harvest that trophy, so we have thousands of accessories and replacement parts to improve your chances. We know how much you love to shoot, so our gunsmiths articles and videos will help you do more and get more out of your guns. We also value your hard work and money. That's why only Brownells backs up everything we sell with a 100% unconditional lifetime guarantee. Brownells, the world's largest supplier of firearm accessories and gunsmithing tools.
My name is Christopher Arnold. I'm an executive chef of Infused Restaurant, and today I'm gonna walk you through some of the meals that we prepare here. We're making a pizza. We use fresh Italian sausage that we cook here and slice it up. Our pizza dough is in-house made. Our pizza sauce is in-house made. So everything is fresh and ingredients. This is our Thai curry chicken. The sauce is made with coconut milk and the Thai red curry. It is juicy chicken thighs as well as some mixed vegetables, served with jasmine rice and pita bread. So now we're going to prepare our famous blackened tilapia and grits, our fish and grits on the menu. Once the fish is ready, then our meal will be complete. Let me tell you about our infused beef burgers, where we kick the spice up just a little bit with our infused sauce. We start off with 80-20 USDA round chuck ham patty burgers, like half a pound of burgers, and we're going to grill it to perfection. After I flip the burgers, we add the sauce and let it cook on into the meat just a little bit. We're going to add a little bit of pepper jack cheese to this burger to spice it up a bit.
Ladies and gentlemen, make this weekend the weekend you go to Infused Restaurant. 6339 Allentown Road, Temple Hills, Maryland. 6339 Allentown Road, Temple Hills, Maryland. Get there for breakfast, get there for lunch, get there for dinner. Get there any way you can. It is to dine for. Infused Restaurant. Make sure that you are there this weekend.
Human by race, Christian by faith, American by nationality, conservative by choice. It's Reverend Ralph Chittum's The Right Guy on the Exceptional Conservative Network from 4:05 to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. The Right Guy on TECN.
Good morning.
I'm Michael Wright.
And I'm Shannon Wright.
Okay, folks, that's not how it goes. I think I'm Shannon, and
I
you're
think so.
Michael.
Yeah.
Okay. We are The Right Way with Shannon and Mike.
Join us from 7 to 9 a.m. Eastern Time.
Live on SHR Media.
And on TECN.
Where we'll be talking about all kinds of things.
From sports and politics.
To food and entertainment.
To money.
Family.
and anything else in between.
Community, holidays, all kinds of things.
It'll be great. Join us from 7 to 9 a.m. Eastern Time.
Hello, this is Leslie Ann Stoffel with The Real Clear Israel. Join me every Sunday morning at 10:05 Eastern Time on the Exceptional Conservative Network, where we'll be discussing Israel with guests from Israel and around the world.
That's The Real Clear Israel, 10:05 Sunday on the Exceptional Conservative Network.
Wow. For you disco people, welcome back to Tuesday Black and Red. Wow, that's loud. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, Boxcar Dave Milner has told me that Tommy Robinson of Rebel Media ripped in a new one over Manchester. And you're absolutely right. I think we haven't had a president since George Bush, early George Bush, first term George Bush, who had the moral apt to say what was necessary to be said in the moment that it needed to be said. And it didn't matter that you were a great orator or not. The bottom line is someone has to deliver the message to Europe that literally you are nullifying NATO by the actions you take, not by the actions that are taken by those on the extreme left, the Marxists, the socialists that make up the Muslim Front. But you, in pursuit of economic equality, which is AKA promising redistribution while stingily keeping it for the elite in ivory towered, you guys are putting not only your nations at risk, but you're putting our nation at risk. And we're not going to take it anymore. We have been your butt boys since Truman. And we're just not going to take it anymore. We watched you dilly-dally, make promises, and listen, God bless Donald J. Trump, the 45th president of the United States, because I watched them in certain clips. And in fact, the clip that I played for you from YouTube, the full NATO speech by Donald Trump, because I didn't want it. I didn't want anything that was given to us by some media. I wanted the actual speech. And you could see the smirks. You could see the literal hostility that those leftists, and they are leftists, ladies and gentlemen, who have decided that you, the taxpayer in the United States of America, are their property. In fact, it's kind of like what King George was doing with tax money, the Stamp Act. Does anyone? That literally your property belongs to Europe, while they do not have to spend a dime, past, present, and certainly not future. Did you see them laughing? Did you see them smirking and tell them, like, yeah, Donald Trump, what is he going to say? He's not that brilliant, you know. I merely think that you American people have made a mistake, and maybe you should have sent a Hillary. Yeah, you should have sent Hillary, because she would have taken the wealth, including the uranium, including the oil, including the gas, right on over to Europe without any pause. Would never have demanded that Europe come up, pony up what they owe. Listen, Donald Trump, first president who went to Europe and defended America. Now, I know Ronald Reagan also went to NATO and chastised them along with Margaret Thatcher. And Pope John Paul II, during his reign, chastised Europe for its insensitivity to the reality of not only economic persecution, but certainly the intangible threats that they faced because of their pursuit of Marxism and socialism. It was Ronald Reagan who stopped the Cold War by admitting the economic frailty of Russia. Russia economically is still frail because they have a great dependency on oil and petroleum and gas in terms of diverting those particular funds and resources into Europe, and quite frankly, attempting to trade gasoline back to Iran. See, they are resourced in that particular fashion. And Europe is dependent on Russia at this point. And that's because of what many of the governors have done here in America, in California and Virginia and so on. We have a great deal of wealth, of resource, natural resource that we could send to Europe and take them off of their dependency of Russia. But Europe doesn't want that. What Europe wants is, it's kind of like when you buy one of those vacation things. We bought the vacation thing on Europe with the idea that someday we would visit on a time period that we wanted at an hour that we desired. A timeshare, per se. You see, they have eclipsed what Steve Wynn or anyone else in Vegas could have come up with a timeshare principle. You see, they resource share. They share your taxpayer money, but they do not share the benefit, the benevolence of what they have garnered over these years. We have trade imbalances with Europe. And at the same time, they refuse to pony up at NATO. They refuse to defend themselves, and in fact have invited the Mohammedans to come in with their own personal attack of Europe. Dave Miller says, yeah, Ken, but we got a free toaster oven. Yeah, they see how that works. It's a European toaster oven, people. Ladies and gentlemen, we've been hoodwinked, bamboozled, led astray by Europe. And quite frankly, I am so proud of Donald Trump, because what he said in private, he said in public. What he said to the Arabs, he said to them. We, the US of A, have had enough of the world. We changed your diapers. We bottle fed you. We took you off our tent and gave you our bottles and diapers. And how do you repay us back? You reach into mama's purse, you take the money out, and then you go buy some reefer. And then you blame us for the tragedies that happened to you. I want to thank Donald Trump for defending America's taxpayers today. And I love the line that he had regarding NATO building that palatial building in which bureaucrats go in and they discern how they're going to spend our money in NATO. Genevieve, do you not think we should maybe go to Cancun this weekend? Maybe a 5-star hotel might be slightly over the top. Maybe a 4.5. Oh, don't worry about it, dear. Put it on the black card, because It's the Americans' money. I'm tired of being persecuted and prostituted. I don't want to be prostituted anymore on social media, and I certainly am not going to be prostituted anymore under this administration. Ladies and gentlemen, all the President of the United States has done is ask for 2%. He didn't ask for cattle on 1,000 hills. He didn't ask for access to all of their resources. He didn't ask, A-X. He didn't ask for them to give up their comfortable way of life, in which they have socialized medicine to their disadvantage, have socialized policing to their disadvantage, have socialized governance to their disadvantage, but it's a comfortable life they have because it's our money. Thank God that a president had the kahunas to go and tell them this will be the last palatial building you build here in Europe with our money, with our resources, knowing that we have a $20 trillion debt. And guess what? Treasury Secretary Mnuchin has asked for a clean increase in the debt ceiling, meaning that we're going to go from 20 to maybe 22, 23 trillion dollars in national debt. On top of a $4.1 trillion budget. We'll talk about that when we come back from the break. And they have the audacity, and this is why I'm concerned about the American people. They have the audacity to smirk and grimace and laugh at the president in front of his face. I tell you what, NATO, do this year by yourself. Bring back our troops, bring back our arsenals. Screw you. We'll stay in Poland because Poland's got it right. We'll stay in Slovenia because Slovenia's got it right. But as for the rest of Europe, screw you. Come on back home, boys. Let them fight their own battles. And when they're back in the same scenario and situation they were in, where Winston Churchill had to come back and beg the Americans to get involved, then, maybe then, we just might have a Europe worth saving. We'll be right back with more of the best right after these messages.
From the war front to the streets of our nation's capital, men of faith, Dr. Michael Jones, the underground professor, and Kenneth McClinton, the exceptional conservative, bring both constitutional gravitas and spiritual perspective on today's issues to the most influential Christian urban talk show, 9:05 p.m. Eastern, Thursdays. It's a new day on New Day, Black and Red.
Begin your mornings the right way with some right thinking from me, Perry Drake, your friendly neighborhood drive-by pundit. I want you to join me every Tuesday and Thursday at 10 a.m. Eastern and 9 a.m. Central Time on the Exceptional Conservative Network. From politics to pop culture to relationships to whatever else is on your mind, we have a great deal to talk about. Join in and let's get the talking started.
Money Talk with Melanie is a lively discussion of global, domestic, and kitchen table financial topics. Join your business diva, Melanie Collette, as I speak with respected entrepreneurs, CEOs, authors, and politicians as we explore today's fiscal environment. Money Talk with Melanie airs every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 10:05 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Exceptional Conservative Network. Remember, this is important because it's your money.
Ladies and gentlemen, we thank you so much for tuning in to the Exceptional Conservative Network, to the exception, well, actually tonight is New Day Black and Red. We are praying for the well-being of the professor, Dr. Michael Jones. We really, really miss him. And if I seem a bit animated this particular evening, it's because I am sorely disappointed that there were not enough Republicans or conservatives standing up and saying, screw you today to Europe. I mean, sincere. I feel this way. Screw you. You just had Manchester happen right before your eyes, and you should have seen the face of Angela Merkel when Donald Trump referred to her early on. She was like, "Oh my God, why is he talking about me? What? Yeah. Has the check been sent, Angela? Where's the check, Angela? We ain't got no money from you yet, Angela." And for those those Germans who are going to go to the polls and vote her back in, you deserve to be left alone. You really do. But I am sincerely concerned, and maybe this is because there have been so many Republicans who have bought into the Russia thing, collusion thing with this imaginary Russian angel or fairy or whatever came and put their little star over every human being that voted for Donald Trump. Thank you, Boxcar. Thank you for putting Tommy Robinson stuff in there. I appreciate that. I'm so sick of Americans who just go along with what Europe wants. Europe says, "Hey, we need more freedom, but we gotta love everybody." You might as well have Katy Perry as your prime minister. You might as well, whatever. But Angela Merkel is personally responsible for the invasion of Europe. She is literally personally responsible for listening to President Obama and encouraging the UN to help them with this invasion. President Obama was doing it with Latin America. Germany was doing it with Syria and with North Africa. They are uniquely responsible for the immigration crises that we have, the invasions that we have today. And yeah, Donald Trump, give you a high five. Thanks for calling her out. She should have been posted up. You should have done LeBron James up on her real quick, because it's her fault that you had Manchester in the first place. Don't say that too loud. They might run Perry in 2020. I hope they do. Run Katy Perry in 2020. But I'm concerned that there are not enough Republicans and conservatives talking the way I'm talking tonight. I haven't heard any. I heard earlier today Rush Limbaugh, maybe just a little bit. But I don't hear anyone as animated and irate as I am at the point of just saying, screw you. We'll take our chips and we will go home. We got enough oil in this country to keep us for 400 years. No lie. We got enough oil to keep us for 400 years. We got enough natural gas and coal to keep us for another 5 centuries. We don't need you. We can handle ourselves. We'll be all right. We'll be all right. You know what I'm saying? But screw you. You're going to sit there and laugh at Donald Trump? He should have posterized each and every one of you, smirking when he asked for you to bow your head in a moment of silence. If you, NATO, can't take Europe seriously, why would ISIS? Do you really? I'd rather take the Kurds, who are known for bullets in their backs because they run. I'd rather take the Kurds over the Europeans right now, because the Europeans are not taking themselves, their country, seriously. Their nation, their continents, seriously. Mary Brockman says, and she's right, he smirked at all of us. That's the way we should be right now. Every American should be pissed off right now. How dare you joke? How dare you play? How dare you roll your eyes? You just had Manchester. France has been on fire for over a year. Then you hire Macron, who married his teacher, who raped him? That's the kind of leadership you... I know, but Ken, you're gone too far. You're gone too far. They're about to put back in Angela Merkel, who is single-handedly responsible for the Mohammedan invasion. And you know what they don't think about while they're smirking? They don't think about the lad who got on a bus from Iowa City, Iowa, and got transported to a base in Texas to be trained to fight in a war against ISIS and terrorists in a distant land. They're not thinking about the gentleman from DeWitt County, Georgia, who played football and basketball and dated your daughter and went to church with you. They're not thinking about him getting on that bus to go to the base, to train, to be sent to Afghanistan, to try to keep the terrorists from getting to Europe, even though Angela Merkel and the rest of them have opened their gates wide for people to get in. When they laughed at Donald Trump today, they laughed at your boy. Can I make it real for you? When Angela Merkel smirked about the 2%, she was smirking at your little girl who's about to get on that bus to go to the Marine base. When the president of NATO is incensed because he's standing in front of the actual leader of the free world, who is responsible for where the bulk of the money comes from to keep NATO and the UN and UNESCO and all those other world organizations alive. That money comes from us. How dare you stand there and smirk at our president, who's just asking you to give 2%? We ain't talking about a lot of money. That's like when you take somebody to dinner and you're paying for dinner and you want to give the tip to, and you look over at them and they're like, I'm not even giving the tip. At least contribute to the tip. What? But you got $2 in your pocket? Can you? When was the last time we smirked when a Manchester happened? Did we not honor Europe? Did we not honor our allies and say, you know what? We have an agreement and we're going to keep that covenant because our word is bond. We don't care about the way you think about us because apparently you don't think well of us at all. But we're going to send our blood, our sons, our daughters, and we're going to fight to protect you all. And you have the audacity, you have the literal audacity to smirk at the fact that you chintzy little socialists have decided to keep your change, your pocket change. I'm sorry. I wasn't going to spend too much time on that, but I'm just wondering where the actual fervor of America is. We sent men to Philadelphia to sign a resolution to say to the greatest power on the face of the earth, screw you. We want to be free. And now the biggest worry that we have is I wonder what the Europeans are thinking about us since Donald Trump pushed that guy out of the way. Maybe he shouldn't have. And then he used that word again. He said loser. He said they were losers. Oh, that really hurts me. He's so mean. You little fruitcakes. I wish there was a patent around in some of these houses to straighten out some of these kids. All these little pink sausage hats on, vagina hats. And you're giving up. You're sacrificing your sons and your daughters to go fight for people who are willing to lay down and give up. I don't know about America anymore. If I'm sorry, maybe I'm not watching enough TV right now. Maybe I'm not listening to enough people on the air right now. Maybe I should be listening to more people, because maybe there are more people who are pissed off. I'm sorry. I know I was going to get into the budget, and I'm going to get into the budget. But your president, my president. Now, remember, when Obama went to China, they didn't use the red carpet. In fact, they moved the ladder so he couldn't get off the plane. I'm just saying. That's the way they treated him. But our president went to an Arab nation and did not bow down, except because of his height, to get the gold emblem around his neck. Literally went into a room filled with Mohammedans and said, you know what? You really are not a peaceful religion lest you drive out those people who offend us. Talk about kahunas. And that we're not going to fight your wars anymore. You on your own. Handle your own. And then he stood next to the Pope. The Pope. And I think you Catholics need another vote. You can retire this one out. A Pope who looked so sad that he had to stand next to Donald Trump, the President of the United States. And I didn't hear Americans upset about that. This wonderkin of liberation theology in the transcendent order of bowing down to the dictators of Latin America and Central America. This chiseled Pope, who so loves climate change that he thinks he puts it in every worship experience now, climate change for the you Catholics. And I didn't hear anybody getting upset that he stood next to the President of the United States and looked like he had drank sour grapes. And then our president goes to Europe. And if it were not for us, there would be no Europe. Can I say that to you? Are you offended, Europe? Are you offended, France? Are you offended, Spain? Are you offended, Great Britain? I know you tune in and you listen. Are you offended yet? If it were not for us, where would you be? I mean, you turned over your liberty to Napoleon. You turned over your liberty to Hitler. Where would you be? And this is how you treat us. Really? This is how you treat us? There have been defiant union bosses who have been treated better by the mafia than how you treated our president. World leaders. Screw you, Europe. Make it on your own. Let's see how that works. And so I leave it at that. I'll leave it at that. I'll let you all listen to the Bloviating Zeppelin later on tonight. He'll take over. He'll take it from there. I'll leave it at that because I don't understand where the conservatives are. I would have held a press conference right on Capitol Hill instantly. Screw you. You laugh at our president, laugh at this. We're cutting our budget. And that any aid that has to go to a European country must go individualistically. You voted for Macron? Screw you. You take care of your own country. You vote for conservatives like Theresa May in Great Britain? We support that. You vote back in German Chancellor Angela Merkel? Screw you. Take what you get. Because we ain't fighting your battles anymore. I'm just saying, that's... Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to understand that we are at war also here at home with individuals who don't understand that your property is your own. The first thing I want to make certain that you understand is that there is a difference between an estate tax and an inheritance tax.
The difference between inheritance and estate tax is not as important as it once was. Technically speaking, an estate tax is a tax on the total value of the decedent's estate, less any deductions or expenses that the estate incurs. An inheritance tax is actually a tax on the person who receives an inheritance. So with an estate tax, the tax comes off the top, is paid by the executor typically, and then the assets are distributed. With an inheritance tax, the beneficiary receives a distribution and owes a tax back to the state. There is no federal inheritance tax. Any inheritance tax and taxes, and there are only a few states left that do charge an inheritance tax. Those are paid directly to the state in that case. So it can get a bit confusing. There's a federal estate tax. Some states have an estate tax as well, and fewer states have an inheritance tax, and they all tend to be lumped together as death taxes. But those are the technical differences between the three.
I wanted you to know the differences between the estate tax and the inheritance tax. Put it this way. The inheritance tax is a tax against you for receiving the gift. The estate tax is a tax on you giving the gift. All of them are death taxes because the only way that you could have got the gift in the first place is that somebody died. And then that particular matter is taken into probate if there is no last will and testament. And I'm going to encourage everybody, do your last will and testament. Bring it up to speed. Let everybody know. Even if you have a TV in your house, make sure you have a last will and testament so somebody knows who's going to get the TV. But you have a government that believes, without a shadow of a doubt, that your property belongs to them. And not only does your property belong to them, they have the right to penalize those who seek to receive the reward of the blessing that you want to give. Now, some of you all might remember that in the Bible, that in Proverbs, it is written that we should store up an inheritance for our children and our children's children. The founding fathers did not believe in an inheritance or an estate tax, at least the majority of them. They believed that you had the right to keep your property. In fact, when you look at Article 1, Section 8, it speaks to the fact that there is an indirect tax. Before I go to break, let me tell you exactly what John Adams said. The moment the idea is admitted into society that property is not as sacred as the laws of God, and that there is not a force of law and public justice to protect it, anarchy and tyranny commence. Where are we, America? We are in the midst of anarchy and tyranny brought to you by the progressives who believe that your property is their property, even though they didn't do anything to get it. When we come back, I want you to hear Bernie Sanders today.
The best late night conservative talk show in America, TECS Radio. And listen, there are no people better on the air to give you the best in conservative talk than Sackhead Sean and Sackhead Clamp. And we're working on the immigration papers for a certain other guy who happens to work here too. For those who are tuning in around the world to the best late night conservative talk, TECS Radio. The best late night conservative talk show in America. In America. In America.
And in this web was a large, I'm pretty sure it was the biggest spider I've ever seen.
Hey, it's Jersey Joe. Hook Reaver, Common Sense. You can catch me every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on shrmedia.com. That's every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, shrmedia.com.
Featuring right thinking from a left brain and doing the job the American maggots won't. BZ is fundamentally changing America, one diaper at a time. Just when safety pin manufacturers are running out of metal for the diapers of the leftists, where the speech is free, but the drinks are not. The Bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon can be heard every Tuesday and Thursday night, commencing at 11 p.m. Eastern and 8 p.m. Pacific, where pushback is a requisite art form in and of itself. Let your ossicles be truly liberated when you listen to the Bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon, only on SHR Media Network. No ferrets were harmed in the making of this ad.
Power brokers use corrupt politicians, deceptive Islam, and lies from establishment media to turn the once shining city on a hill into the city of the blind. What do the elites fear? One man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me at SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Spreaker, iTunes, and YouTube for a different kind of commentary on the unpleasant blind guy. Because truth is not always pleasant.
Shekinah Ranch is involved in helping youth through the snags along the pathway to adulthood. The last 8 years have created greater challenges. Having a president to parade perversion to our youth has generated the need for us to ramp up our character learning 100-fold. Today's youth are confused. Our goal is to give them a fresh understanding of creation, moral clarity, respect for authority. In short, restore absolutes and boundaries. Boys are born boys and girls are born girls. God's design. Right is right even when no one else is doing it. The Exceptional Conservative Network is underway to raise $10,000 to help advance this mission. Together, let's reverse the confusion aimed at our youth. Don't be a spectator. Go to our donation portal and make your financial contribution. Do it now. Your gift goes towards helping youth get clarity, moral clarity. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you back to New Day Black and Red live from the nation's capital. Coming up at 11 p.m. Eastern Time, Berserk Bobcat Saloon with Sir Mark the Bloviating Zeppelin. I'm quite certain he will be a little bit more kind and more compassionate than I have been towards Europe. So for those who are definitely going to listen, tune into shrmedia.com to listen. Certainly, I might be seen as a warlord, per se, tribal in my offense, but I mean what I say. I am sincerely offended by the actions of those in Europe, and there is no doggone way I would ever support sending any more money to y'all. It's just that simple. When y'all get y'all act together, we'll help you. Just that simple. The reason why I wanted to talk with you all tonight about the inheritance tax and the estate tax is that, quite frankly, there are those who have this idea that they own you. I don't understand where they got this idealism from, because it certainly isn't in the Constitution. And in fact, I just showed you tonight that the Constitution doesn't even say that government has a right to our private property. I want to give you these remarks by Judge Andrew Napolitano.
Does the government work for us or do we work for the government? How much economic freedom do we have in the United States? Tonight, the government doesn't believe in economic freedom. The root of economic freedom is the recognition of the right to own private property. That includes the right to use it unmolested, to dispose of it without anyone's permission, and to exclude anyone from it, even the government. Suffice it to say, no American president since the advent of the income tax and the Federal Reserve 100 years ago has fully accepted or meaningfully defended that right. The more the government extracts in taxes and the more it inflates the money supply, the more it rejects and assaults your property rights. Every president in the 20th century, even Ronald Reagan, has signed legislation raising income taxes. The theory behind the income tax is that the government's need for cash is so great, it can just take it from your employer before your employer pays you, before you even see the cash, and use it as it sees fit. This presumes that the federal government has a greater right to your income than you do. There really can be no rationale for income taxes without that belief. Do you know anyone outside of the government who believes that? If you believe that you have the natural right to own your property and to trade and spend your money as you see fit, then there was only one Republican candidate who agrees with you. That candidate, when asked last night in the South Carolina debate what the rate of income taxes should be, replied simply, 0. One needs to laugh at Mitt Romney and Rick Santorum and Newt Gingrich as they pitifully attempt to defend natural rights and the right to pursue happiness when they have no respect for the right to own private property.
Your own Republicans don't respect private property. Your own Republicans don't respect private property, which is why you can sit there and watch someone laugh at you. Oh, look at your president. Oh, he thinks we're supposed to give you our wealth. You're supposed to give it to us. You see, this mindset that has been laid upon the hearts of those in Washington, D.C., that your property is my property and we can redistribute it the way we want, has created such adverse outcomes that you actually have people who are offended that the taxpayer has rights and expectations of how their taxes would be used. That we're not supposed to give money to individuals who are retired and playing like they're disabled, but are actually on the golf course. That someone who has 18 Obama phones doesn't need 18 Obama phones. Somehow, we have gotten this mindset together that is not the right of the taxpayer to give, but it's the right of the taxpayer or the tax recipient to receive. And you're no questions asked on that. Let me play for you very quickly Bernie Sanders.
Thank you very much. And Director Mulvaney, thanks very much for being with us this morning. And I would agree with the chairman on one point. We must restore faith with the American people and their government. Sadly, this budget does exactly the opposite. The Trump budget that was introduced this week constitutes a massive transfer of wealth from working families, the elderly, the children, the sick, the poor, the most vulnerable people in our country to the top 1%. It follows in the footsteps of the Trump-Ryan healthcare bill, which gives massive tax breaks to the people on top while throwing 23 million people off of the health insurance they currently have and dramatically raising premiums for older workers. This is a budget which says that if you are the wealthiest family in America, the Walton family of Walmart, you can get up to a $52 billion tax break through the repeal of the estate tax.
What difference does it make, ladies and gentlemen? Whether you made $12,800 or $128 billion, it's your money. I know you all have a great affinity for listening to Melanie Collette, Money Talk with Melanie, and her axiom is virtually, it's your money. But you have people on Capitol Hill and also someone sitting next to you on the bus or in the coffee house who believes that your money is theirs. And that government has the right to tax you on the gate that goes into heaven. Literally, you have no rights to property. Bernie Sanders is pissed off because a billionaire, notice how he doesn't talk about Warren Buffett here, and he doesn't talk about the Microsoft guy, Gates. He doesn't talk about them. He talks about Sam Walton, who's a conservative, a Republican. You see, I don't mind rich people being liberal or progressive or leftist or Marxist or socialist because they've accepted the fact that I'm going to steal their money. But I do have a problem with you telling me that constitutionally you're not supposed to steal my money. And you're right, BZ or Soros. No problem with those guys.
Let me repeat that. Wealthiest family in America could get up to a $52 billion tax break. But at the same time, this budget says that if you are a lower income senior citizen, you will not be able to get one hot, nutritious meal a day that is currently provided to you.
That is not what the budget says. The states are responsible for determining how low income and poor people and elderly people get food. That is a state program, not a federal program. But you will not hear the leftists speak truth even on the floor of the U.S. Senate. Why? Because it's not in their best interest.
By the Meals on Wheels program. This is a budget that says that if you are the second wealthiest family in America, the Koch brothers, a family, by the way, that has contributed hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars into the Republican Party, your family can...
Do you get it yet, ladies and gentlemen? Which is why I have to leave off of Facebook and all that other stuff. Do you get it yet? They don't have a problem with Mark Zuckerberg and his billions. They don't have a problem at all. They have a problem when you use your money for freedom and liberty. Ladies and gentlemen, there is a budget that's been presented. I got 2 minutes, and I'm going to touch on the budget, and I'll get into this. If I don't have a guest on Monday, I'll get into it in greater detail. But this is what the President of the United States said at the close of that budget, Donald J. Trump. Many other government agencies and departments will also experience cuts. These cuts are sensible and rational. Every agency and department will be driven to achieve greater efficiency and to eliminate wasteful spending and carrying out their honorable service to the American people. I look forward to engaging the Congress and enacting this America First budget. Donald J. Trump, President. Did you understand what he just said? That we have to end the gimme state. We haven't reached nanny state yet, but the people on the nanny state side were laughing at us today. Look at the they want 2%. What about our socialized medicine? What about our ivory towers? ladies and gentlemen, you have a president who ran a country, well, at least a business in several countries, who understood that you need to get things done, you need to get them done under budget, and you need to get them done on time. You have a Congress, Republican and Democrat, that don't respect the Constitution and don't respect the fact that Madison made it very clear that you do not have a constitutional right to confiscate people's wealth and property. When do we wake up? Well, maybe we'll only wake up when they send us the real tax bill that we have to pay, and it's due payable today. Raise the national debt to 22 trillion. That doesn't make any difference to most people. You know what will make a difference? Send them the bill that's due now and tell them they got 30 days to pay it. Imagine the upheaval in Bernie Sanders land. We'll be right back right after this message.
Hello, this is Leslie Ann Stillpool with The Real Clear Israel. Join me every Sunday morning at 10:05 Eastern Time on the Exceptional Conservative Network, where we'll be discussing Israel with guests from Israel and around the world.
That's The Real Clear Israel, 10:05 Sunday on the Exceptional Conservative Network.
Featuring right thinking from a left brain and doing the job the American maggots won't. BZ is fundamentally changing America, one diaper at a time. Just when safety pin manufacturers are running out of metal for the diapers of the leftists, where the speech is free, but the drinks are not. The Bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon can be heard every Tuesday and Thursday night, commencing at 11 p.m. Eastern and 8 p.m. Pacific, where pushback is a requisite art form in and of itself. Let your ossicles be truly liberated when you listen to the Bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon, only on SHR Media Network. No ferrets were harmed in the making of this ad. Featuring
Deuteronomy 10:20 clearly states, "You shall fear the Lord your God, you shall serve him and cling to him, and you shall swear by his name." We have a lot of people who swore by the name of God when they put their hand on a Bible to take their post as your representative in Congress. They have forgotten that role. They have forgotten their responsibility. They know that you have also forgotten what they're required to do. You don't want to cause any trouble because you just want to go along and get along. Listen, for the next month that I'm on the air at SHR, I'm just going to be so straight up real with y'all. I ain't got nothing to lose. Some of you conservatives are a waste of time and effort. You really are. And I'll say it in this particular fashion, in this way. You have a lot of rhetoric, but you are empty in terms of pursuit. You say you believe in conservatism, and yet you allow a government to steal from you. And they don't mind stealing from you because you don't say nothing. You won't fight. You're kind of like Europe. I'm going to say this to you. Ladies and gentlemen, I ain't Europe. Never will be. Never going to be. I refuse to conform. I conform to only this. God bless America. Now, America, it's time for you to bless God. Sir Mark the Bloviating Zeppelin is next. Have a great weekend.